Live from the Rush Point Studios, it's the Pat and Brian Show.
And good evening, everyone. Brian along with Pat on the Pat and Brian Show. Good evening, Pat.
Good evening, Brian.
How are you today?
I'm alive like 35.
Tonight, yeah. So we're going to be talking a little bit about shopping, holiday shopping, and the scams you might find out there. It seems like everybody comes out of the woodwork when it comes to scamming people during the holiday season. I found out the hard, not really the hard way, but I found out when I did a show down in North Carolina. It was a 4-hour radio show, Monday through Friday. And during the holiday season, usually beginning right around the time of Thanksgiving or Black Friday, as they call it, we would get a bunch of callers that would say, I'm really down on my luck. I lost my job or whatever. I mean, and some of these might have been, legit, but a lot of them aren't. We had one guy that called up, said that his cupboards were bare. So one of my listeners went out and bought some groceries for him, brought it over to his house with her friend, which is a good idea to begin with. And come to find out, his cupboards were not empty, but they were full. So, I mean, just things like that. It just really doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, and other people looking for handouts or donations or whatever. Somebody wanted a coat one time. I gave the coat off my back to a guy because he didn't have any money, didn't have a winter coat, and he was standing outside about freezing. In North Carolina, it only gets down into the 30s and the 20s, generally around January and February. Sometimes it doesn't get that low, but I do know that they only have one snowplow for the state. So, so anyway, so talking about that, is there anything that you would like for Christmas, Pat?
Nope.
Nope.
I get asked that question every single year, and every year I say no.
Yeah, I'm the same way too. I just if I really want something, I'll just go out and buy it, or and sometimes I have to think about it.
Well, for me,
So
if I need it and I have it, good. If I don't have it, means I don't need it.
that's right. So, but I know my wife likes to go out with the girls and go shopping on Black Friday every year. And me, I would just rather stay and steer clear from the stores because I just don't like a bunch of people. Um,
Well, I have a philosophy about Black Friday and these stores with their supposed deals.
yeah,
And my philosophy is okay, all throughout the year, you pay a certain price for each and every item you purchase.
yeah,
Come Black Friday, they're going to raise it up 300-400% and
yeah.
then drop it down on sale for the price that it originally was.
That is true.
So
lot of
you
stores
tell
do that.
me, yeah, but you tell me where the saving actually is
Yeah,
when you go out on Black Friday, because a couple of weeks after Black Friday, if you look, they're going to be the same prices they were right before Black Friday.
well, one of the other things too is like there's a lot of different stores. I've noticed that Kohl's. I was talking with my wife about Kohl's. They have their Kohl's cash, and you can only spend it during like the next week that you after you earned it, and
Bull.
and then they give you like a 30% discount. But I mean, if you take a look online at their prices compared to somebody else's prices, you're going to find out that they're probably about 40% more.
Hmm.
Then it's like we bought a Shark vacuum several years ago, and my wife has got a Kohl's card, and so she got some extra Kohl's cash or something like that, so she can spend that later on, and she got a discount, and
It's not a discount.
yeah, it really isn't. I mean, you think about it, I could go over to probably Walmart, find the same vacuum, and get that for probably $100 less.
Yeah, but
So
see now you take your example you just said.
yeah,
All right, I've got $150 worth of Kohl's cash,
yeah,
and their vacuum cleaner, say $380.
yeah,
Okay,
right,
and Walmart's vacuum cleaner is $380.
right,
Okay, Now you take that Kohl's cash and you subtract that supposedly from the item.
Yeah.
But what they don't tell you is for every time you use one of those Kohl's cash things,
Yeah.
if you wait about a week or so, you'll notice all the prices jump up.
Wow.
Have you noticed that?
No, I don't. I don't really follow too much on the prices.
Well,
I know that Amazon keeps on going up just on about on a daily basis. So there's stuff that I've gotten. In fact, one of these microphones I paid what $59 for, which is a steal. I mean, these things are probably worth like trying to think here. Is it Audio Technica? No, Electro Voice. EV10 or EV20, which is a broadcast quality mic, and that's what these are. But these are actually Marshall, or not Marshall, but gosh, I can't remember offhand what they are. Take a look at them again. MXLs. So, but they're still a great quality microphone for doing podcasts or even radio broadcasts and things. So, but anyway,
well, you're talking about scamming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scamming's a bitch.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
But aren't your stores the biggest scammers of the world?
Well, I think so. Sure.
I mean, they're the one making the profit.
Yeah.
But, on the other side of that, the people doing the scamming, like credit cards, checks, and, like the one saying, if you don't give us, $3,000, but the only way you can pay us is by gift cards.
Right.
One of the biggest scams they got out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's really being scammed there?
Yeah.
The person paying the money? Yeah.
Right.
But also, it's going to affect the rest of us in other forms.
Yeah, about it's probably just when the internet first came out, they had a dating site, and I was single at the time, and I don't remember what the dating site name was. It's probably not existent anymore. But anyway, so I was chatting with this gal on online.
You find out it was a man?
No, it wasn't that. It's just wanted to know if I had a camera. It's like, no, I don't have a camera on my computer. I said, that's another expense I can't afford right now. So, and my computer, I think I paid, gosh darn it, probably around two grand maybe back in the day when they first, I mean, not when they first came out, but when the internet first came out. But anyway,
when AOL was still alive,
she was trying to scam me and said, oh, like the second or third day that we were chatting, she says, I just found out my grandma's got cancer and she doesn't have any money to. And it's like, really? I knew right then and there that I was about ready to get scammed. So, people like that. Then you get other people that will prey on the elderly because they don't know enough about. Well, they should, but you get into the.
See, you just mentioned something there.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law, last year or the year before, got a phone call stating that her grandson was in jail.
Oh yeah, I've had that one too.
And it was kind of funny because they didn't know the grandson's name. They didn't know where he lived.
Oh sure, yeah.
But if it wasn't for her husband stating hang up,
yeah,
because their grandson was actually at work that day.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of those calls they're taking a chance that you might have a grandson or granddaughter that is abroad or whatever, and thinking that they're in trouble. I'm calling for your granddaughter. She needs money. She's in jail. That kind of thing, and playing the heartstrings.
A couple of years ago, excuse me.
Sure.
I got a phone call
from
they claimed to be the government.
Yeah.
Stating that, asking me if I would accept a call from some guy from overseas.
Oh yeah.
And I said, I don't know that person. I don't never heard of him.
Yeah.
And then I hung up with them. About 20 minutes later, I get the same person on the line.
Yeah.
Asking me about the same person again. And I'm like, I told you once. I don't know who they are.
Right.
Get my number off your line. That was before we could block everybody and whatnot.
Right.
And they swore up and down they were from the government.
So
So that's another form that they'd like to do.
Well, I've been getting texts, scamming texts and stuff on my phone. And thank heavens we've got software on our cell phones now that can take care of that and make sure it doesn't go through to us or whatever. But I've had them like the U.S. Postal Service can't deliver a package because your address is screwy or something like that. So please contact us.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other scams too that I've heard in recent years, actually been around for quite a long time, but they're using voice technology somehow to record your voice saying yes. So um, they'll ask, "Is this so and so?" And I'll say, rather than saying yes, I'll say, "Who's asking?" Just get some verbal going a little bit. And
How about the other scam they used to have out there?
what's that?
You'd get a message stating that you won over like $400,000
Oh,
from an
yeah,
out of
yeah,
state
yeah.
or out of country
Yeah.
lottery,
Hmm.
but in order to get it, you got to send them $4,000.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, if I won a lottery, one, I shouldn't have to pay to get my money.
right.
You know,
Yeah, there was one going around for quite a long time too. I don't know if it still is or not, but it was something that you get in the mail, and it said,
you're talking about the checks.
yeah, the checks, and deposit this in your account, and then you would get let you keep the money or whatever it was. But somehow they had some sort of tracer on them. They could take your complete bank account and empty it. So,
See, I got one of those letters a long, long time ago, and then I got a phone call.
yeah,
And I told them I had cashed the check, and they freaked out
yeah,
because it said, do not cash the check.
right,
Well, I told them I cashed the check. I never did it, of course.
yeah,
But, I told them I did, and they said, well, this is what you need to do. And they started going down a whole
Mhm.
spiel saying I
Yeah.
had to get gift cards. I had to do this.
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and I said, well, where would you like me to send it to? And they said, well, and they just started stuttering and
Yeah.
backfiring.
Mhm.
So I already knew it was a scam right off the
Yeah,
bat.
yeah. Yeah, the only thing is they're getting so to the point now that they're getting so um,
Good.
good at it,
Yeah.
and I know a lot of the elderly have issues with that. When my dad was alive, he had gotten multiple calls, and they finally just, or not calls, but emails rather. So they just got rid of their internet altogether. And I mean, which is stupid to me because I mean, you don't have to respond to those things. I just usually send them in my spam folder, and
I just delete them.
yeah, I send them to spam, and then they get deleted, and I don't get them back again. So I used to get tons and tons of spam and scammers and stuff like that. Now on Facebook, you get you put something on Marketplace, you can just about immediately get response. Say, I'm really interested in that item you have. Please send me your phone number. Like, really? How stupid do you think I am? I'm not going to send you my phone number. Why can't you just do your business on Facebook Marketplace Messenger or whatever, and not through a telephone? I don't give my phone number out to any of those people on there. I mean, I will if I know them. If like a buddy of mine or a friend of mine or whatever, yeah, then I'll give my phone number out to them. But it's like, I'm not going to give my phone number out. Sorry. Well,
Well,
give me your email address.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to give them. If you can't do business through Messenger, then I don't want to do business with you at all. Then
But you're talking about Facebook.
and then I go back there and I block them so they can't contact me again.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and then they'll find another way to get to you.
oh, they do. They
Yeah.
do. It's just like they open up a new account, and you can usually tell the account how old the account is, and if it's less than a year, I don't bother with it.
Yeah.
A lot of times. So
Now, have you noticed though on Facebook that if you're looking something up, a product or something, and all of a sudden it shows up on Facebook, it's like, hey, we think you might like this.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's like, okay, why are we being watched
Mhm.
by what we do?
That's AI, artificial intelligence, and that's
Yeah, but
one of
doesn't
those
that
trackers and things like
But
that.
don't you think that's a privacy infringement?
Well, yes and no.
Well, how do you figure no?
Well, I don't think that it's really I don't think it's something that we would consider to be private if we're looking for something.
If I'm looking something up on Facebook or through Google,
Yeah.
prime example through Google,
Hmm.
I look up something.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm scrolling through Facebook, and all of a sudden, hey, I was just looking for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Um,
from 5 minutes to 25 minutes later, it shows up on Facebook.
Well, yeah. That's those trackers working. It's like I purchased a.
Yeah, but when you say trackers,
Mhm.
why aren't these fake fact checkers like the trackers?
I would wish.
Okay,
just-
and there's another scam there.
Yeah, there's just too much of it. I mean, there's no way to completely control scamming or spamming. There's just no way. And they'd have to have so many different algorithms and filters and things like that and you can only put so much filters on any given thing, because if you get too involved with the filters, nothing will come through, and they want something to come through. So but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think it's not. It is kind of invading your privacy. It's like I purchased a PS4 with a few games.
No, I thought it was PS5.
No, it's a PS4.
Oh, okay.
I got it for $30. So I thought that was a heck of a deal, because I mean, in store you're looking at a couple $100 for a used one. Somebody just didn't use it anymore. They wanted to get rid of it, so I came upon it, texted them in Messenger, and away I went. So I was actually the first one that did it, because it was on, I think, for about 20 minutes, if that. So I got that, and then I started looking for games and things like that, like anybody would. I was looking for games for my granddaughter so they could play that when they came to visit. And then for my wife, she likes like the Diner Dash type stuff, like the little computer programs where she's supposed to be cooking or waiting on people and that kind of stuff. So, and then she likes the hidden ones. So anyway, I was looking for some of that stuff, and some of the stuff I like too, like sports and that kind of stuff. So, but anyway,
You like watching the overpaid crybabies?
yeah. No, I like playing, and the graphics have gotten so great. I mean,
I'll give it that. The graphics
my
is just
gosh.
unbelievable now.
my future son-in-law Andrew is a computer programmer or a game programmer, and I've seen one of the games that he did with a couple of other guys in college, and that was like, wow. I mean, it wasn't intense graphics like you have on the PS5 or Xbox or whatever, but it was still not bad at all.
No.
And it wasn't sick people, but still, I mean, could I do that? No, definitely not.
No, if you had the training for it,
Well,
you could.
maybe I could, yeah, but
You point here, click there.
yeah, pretty much.
Write a program for this, and
But getting back to the story here, it's just when I went on Facebook, yeah, PlayStation 4 game things would start popping up all the time, and it's like, what on earth? So yeah, I guess you do get raped. Excuse me, you do get kind of raped in that aspect when it comes to your privacy.
Yeah. Now the other thing, that really is the shoplifters.
Oh yeah.
The shoplifters are just as bad.
Yeah.
Because take this guy for instance, this Wagner or whatever that's been all over the television. He's already been caught, and Target's one of the stores he's been hitting, and they're saying $125,000 worth of merchandise.
Yeah.
Who pays for that?
We do.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
But then they showed the other ones where the small businesses, one guy in particular, I didn't catch his name, had to close his business because he was broken into 5 times.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Well, and speaking of that, I just want to give you guys an update if you haven't already read it. But the thief from the Rush Point store that was plastered all over the internet has been identified. Charges have been placed. I've been trying to find out more information about the guy, but have not run into anything. I can't seem to find any police reports or sheriff's reports on the thing, but the sheriff's office did say that but he had been identified and charges have been placed. And the sheriff's department just wanted to say a big thanks to everybody that shared on Facebook and helped catch him. So, also something else I wanted to talk about just real briefly here. Pat had mentioned something about on our last show about the government coming in and taking over the internet. I did some research that day after, found out that was a false story. Someone who decided to concoct it because they had too much time on their hands, and decided to create that story to create a major uproar. So, also wanted to say next Tuesday, November 28th at 7 p.m., we'll be discussing suicide. I do plan on having a special guest in studio. I'm not going to name who it is yet. I'm still waiting for a confirmation on that, but you don't want to miss that special podcast. Want to say happy 30th anniversary to a good friend of mine, Skip and Melissa Moltenbray. They're from Sanford, North Carolina. And I think they're on a cruise right now, so lucky kids. And then also just wanted to mention for my relatives up in Canada that are listening in, I'm sorry to hear about my cousin, Danny, who I hadn't seen probably in 50 years. He passed away from cancer at the age of 59. So my heart and prayers and condolences are going out to my family up there. So that was just kind of some of the stuff I just want to run over about tonight on the show. So anyway, getting back to more of the scamming, you can get there's neighbors scamming neighbors. Have you ever heard of that before?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but not much. But
yeah, well, there's some people that find out that there's a wealthier person living right down the street from us that we haven't met yet, and they go over during the holidays and they say, well, just wanted to welcome you into the neighborhood and all that or whatever. Introduce yourself, and then they'll start a conversation and all that. And sometimes they'll get invited in, sometimes they won't. I usually open my door to pretty much anybody, so with the exception, I mean, my dog can tell pretty well who I should let in and who I shouldn't. So, but anyway, the neighbors scamming neighbors thing goes kind of like this. It's like they start talking about how much they're down on their luck and all this other stuff, and trying to get pull on the heartstrings again for sympathy, and then see if they can get people to give them money for Christmas. So, and it's just like, really, I mean, if you're that down and hard, if you're that down and about your life, then make some changes. Don't scam people. I just get so sick and tired of hearing about it. It's like the people that at a yard sale one time that I was at, somebody bought a Nintendo.
That'd be a Nintendo 64.
Yeah, probably 64 back then. And the person said, well, yeah, it works and everything. So of course they didn't see it working and all that. But so the person got it home, plugged it in, nothing worked at all. Not a thing worked. And so they decided to take it apart. One of the kids decided to take it apart. Found out there was no innards in it. There was a brick on the inside.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. And I mean, they paid probably $50 or $60 for the thing used, But back then, the N64, I don't think that was almost brand new. But so somebody scammed that. Somebody scammed somebody out of $50. They ended up getting their money back because they were able to prove where they got it from. And the person that sold it to them actually ended up in jail. Felony charge
because it's fraud.
Well, that and she had done that to other people in the past and had gotten caught for it. So you think one slap on the hand would be all you need, but some people it's just I don't think they can. I don't know.
They don't comprehend what they're doing. They're just out for greed.
Yeah. Say if you got a comment that you'd like to make on scams, or if you've been scammed, or somebody's tried to scam you, or whatever, let us know through the chat right here on YouTube. We're 25 minutes into the show right now. Again, we're going to be talking about suicide prevention next week on the show. And I know that there's a lot of people that depression hits really hard during the holiday seasons for one reason or another. We're going to tell you some of the signs to look for. Sometimes there aren't any signs. Sometimes it's just somebody decides, you know what, I'm done living, and just do it. But we hope that our show will help you prepare yourself in the event that you have somebody that has got depression. I know a lot of people have suffered from depression. I have for many years. I think Pat does too. I'm depressed just looking at his face.
Yeah, holidays don't do anything for me anymore.
Yeah.
Because of what happened to my late wife during the holidays, and
Right.
so I just don't really acknowledge it sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like you might have had something bad happen to you, and you're, during those times when you're a child, or whatever it might be, or when you're adult and just had somebody that you maybe broke up with during that time of season, or whatever. It might be just the snowfall, and like, I always have to go out in the backyard and at least shovel off a piece of the property where I can see some grass, and that usually helps me a little bit. But if it's just one big snowdrift after another, and you keep on getting snow, like you're telling yourself, where does it ever end? Will it ever get any better? It's like, why do I keep living in Minnesota? I don't know. I ask that question quite frequently. The only reason I do is because of our grandkids. If it wasn't for our grandkids, I wouldn't be living in Minnesota. That's for sure.
Well, somebody once told me something, Brian, that I think holds true.
What's that?
Wherever we are is where we're meant to be.
Yeah. Well, I've been here and there. I've been all over the country basically, and where I live they call home, but it's, I don't know.
Well, but if you think about that statement, wherever we are is where we're meant to be.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
Well, how so?
Well, think about it. If I was meant to be halfway down the damn street somewhere, well, that's where I'd be.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, if you lived here, you'd be home already.
Well,
it's kind of like the same principle.
Well,
if you lived here, you've seen those signs on apartment buildings. If you lived here, you'd be home by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of that same principle.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's like I can call anywhere home. Doesn't make any difference to me. I've got nothing keeping me in Minnesota other than my grandkids. And I love my grandkids.
Yeah.
And they're such a treat. The two little girls. I mean, they're 3 and 4 years old, and the funny.
Oh, I thought they were older than that.
No, funny things they say, and you never want them to grow up. I mean, you do, but you don't.
Yeah, but kids that age up until they're about 12, 13 years old have no clue what they're saying when they say it.
Well, a lot of times, no, but they do have great parents. I have to give them that, because their mom and dad are fully devoted to them, and you can tell. I mean, they're just happy little girls, and they just love their parents, and they love the grandparents too on both sides. And I think we're the fun grandparents. I don't know. Maybe we're not the fun grandparents.
Okay. Oh, nice thing about grandchildren.
Yeah.
You can fill them up full of sugar and send them home.
That's right. That's right. We go down to babysit them every once in a while, about every other week, I think it is, when their parents go bowling. And this last time I went down there, I haven't been feeling all that great in the past, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, maybe longer than that, yeah. But
well, you've been a ghost.
I've been trying to get my diabetes under control here, and last night it was down to 58, my glucose level. And I was like, and I didn't feel any different, which is weird, because the last time it was down to that, I passed out. And that was That was back in '09, I think, or '08. '08, I think it was. No, it was 2009. But anyway, shortly after I got on metformin and that kind of junk. So, but anyway, like I said, getting back to the being at home, I mean, I loved it down in North Carolina. My wife didn't because she has allergies and it was pretty humid down there in the summertime. I lived in Florida. I couldn't stand Florida because it was just, you take a nice cold shower to cool yourself down. You go outside, get in your car and go to work, and you're sweating to death again as soon as you step out the door. It's so humid down there. The only thing I really liked about Florida was the thunderstorms. I love thunderstorms. And they had some pretty impactful thunderstorms when I lived there.
You mean you didn't like the 3-inch cockroaches?
I never saw any cockroaches when I lived down there.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, you were lucky.
Not a one. But I did see a suitcase going across the road on an interstate.
Yeah, did you name it Lyle Crocodile?
Pretty much, yeah. It's like, what on earth? It looks like a tire tread blown across the road. No, it wasn't a tire tread. It was an alligator. So that was a big one. It must have been a good 15 feet. So, and I remember going to a springs for to go swimming one time with a friend of mine. And right on the other side was a chain link fence, or I should say there was a chain link fence. And then on the other side was a river or something like that. And there were gators in there. It's like, oh my word. I don't know if I'd be able to stay there too long or not. Just have to be looking over your shoulder. But I guess they don't like fresh water. They live in salt water.
Well, you got fresh water and salt water.
Yeah, I don't quite understand the difference between the
two.
And
then you got one that does both fresh and salt water.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the American alligator, but I could be wrong.
It could be. So anyway, so yeah, I could live pretty much anywhere I'd like to. I kind of like to live in Tornado Alley, like in Oklahoma.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, I actually would. I have visited Oklahoma on 2 occasions, and actually not visited, but I've driven through Oklahoma. But I'm really into storms. I mean, I used to chase tornadoes when I was younger, and
that explains a lot.
And I still love a good thunderstorm. And just the adrenaline just kicks in, and I never had any of this when I was chasing tornadoes. I never had any adrenaline where I don't know if you watch like Reed Timmers like that, the meteorologist, he'll start hacking away, just coughing like crazy because his adrenaline is so high when they're chasing those things. But I've never gotten to that point. I mean, I've gotten within a quarter of a mile from a twister before. We had a twister that I was underneath of the support beams of a bridge as a tornado passed over the bridge.
That must have been loud as hell.
It was. It was very.
Did it sound like a freight train?
Oh, it sounded like a lot more than a freight train. I mean, it was like 100 freight trains.
Wow.
And it was really, really loud. And I was trying to hold on to the girder underneath at the same time, trying to cover my ears, so I wouldn't have to hear that. So there was a few other people that were underneath that thing too. So that was a time when I was another guy with me, and I was doing the reporting for a radio station in southern Minnesota, and he was driving, and the van conked out, and we couldn't get it started again. We saw this tornado coming, and we were probably 100 feet away from the bridge underpass, so we booked it. And he said, "Well, maybe we should just lay in the ditch." And I said, "I'm not taking my chances with that."
Yeah.
I've heard of people laying in ditches and all that, and then getting swept away. So not this old man, not this old boy. Not gonna go that way.
The really big tornado that hit in Oklahoma. I was sitting on my sister's porch watching that.
Yeah.
It was so big. You can see the debris circling
debris
around.
field. Yeah.
The whole sky was orange.
Yeah.
An eerie color orange.
I remember a time when I lived with my parents out in the country, not on a farm, but it was right next to a farm. And I was sitting out in the lawn chair looking toward the east, and I could see this tornado on the ground. And my mom's got the pets downstairs, the dog and the cat, screaming through the window, "Get your ass down here right now." I said, "Mom, there's no reason for me to be in the basement right now because there's nothing to the west of us. It was blue sky, and it was almost black over on the in the east, but you could see the silhouette of this big tornado, and it was a twister. It's a twister. It's a twister. But anyway, she, she was very adamant about me getting down to the basement. It's like, I'm not going to the basement. It's not going to hurt me. I'm perfectly fine. They don't travel from in a lot of cases, they don't travel from east to west. I mean, you do get one that will maybe backtrack a little bit, but not a total backtrack. So, so anyway, it was just funny. My mom used to be such a worrywart when it came to weather. We had I was out in Tyler, Minnesota, in my high school days, and I'd gone out there to visit my brother Lee. And anyway, when I was gone, we had a tornado that hit we had some pine trees out back of our garage in Mapleton, and it brought them down. Well, Mom and Dad were supposed to go on a cruise, and Dad was out there with a chainsaw, and he has an accident, cuts right into his leg.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, anyway, needless to say, I think they were still able to go on the cruise, but it's like, really? I mean, the trees are so twisted, and then there was the tornado jumped over our house, went over to the farmer's house, which was a rental. I don't think anybody was living there at the time. Took the corn crib, turned it halfway around, and set it back down in the foundation. That is crazy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was like, the door used to be on this side, but it's over here now. It's just crazy the things that happen like that. Down in, I think it was Tracy, Minnesota. My dad was telling me about this. I think there was, he said that there was a tree that a piece of straw went right through.
You mean like drilled through?
Yeah, basically stuck right through it.
Or like a laser just went through the tree?
Well, it had part of a piece of straw on one side and part of it on the other side, but it went right through the tree.
Oh my!
From a tornado. So it's just amazing the wind speeds that you can get with some of those.
Yeah, but the force that would take.
Yeah, be an F5.
It would have to be stronger than that, I think.
Well, F5 is the strongest one ever recorded. But and this was back. I think he said it was back in the 20s or 30s that it happened. But I don't know if he lived there or what the deal was. I just don't remember. But I thought that is just crazy. And then you get you heard about the F5 down in St. Peter, Minnesota. And that was back in the 90s, I think, when it took most of the downtown area, like a lot of the old historic homes right there on 169.
I didn't know Minnesota existed until about.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
30 years ago.
Yeah. You're a newbie for this area. Forgot, but yeah, just weird. So I mean, those storms can really pack a wallop. I mean, you were here. Was it 2 years ago that we had that rain?
Oh yeah. We got that 5 inches of rain.
5.5 inches of rain in
an hour.
Yeah, in less than an hour, I think it was. So, and I had some footage of it from one of my cameras that I had on my weather tower, as I call it, which is about a 10-foot mast. That's got my weather stuff on it. But anyway, that was played on Channel 9 or no, Channel 5. But the winds were packing, and I'll tell you what, the rain was just coming down. I could not believe it. We had a little pond out here, and it was a lake by the time everything was said and done. Almost coming across the road. So anyway, well, I'm going to say, if you've got anything that you'd like to say, please chime in on our chat on YouTube tonight. Would appreciate it. Now, we're going to change things a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about some dad jokes.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Here you go. Why was Cinderella so bad at soccer?
Kept running away from the.
Yeah, you can see that over here.
No,
That's
I
why.
can't.
Oh, you can't, huh?
I don't have my glasses
Oh, okay.
on.
What did this horse say after it tripped? Help, I've fallen and can't giddy up. That's pretty lame.
No, I thought that one there, because I've heard that one before. I thought it said the horse would say, "Help! I lost my giddy up."
Oh, no, this one doesn't. So,
Yeah. Okay.
why can't you hear a pterodactyl going to the bathroom? Because the P is silent. Spelled P-T.
Yeah. Well, when you find a funny one, you'll know.
Yeah. What do you call an angry carrot? A steamed veggie.
Boo.
Yeah.
These are all clean jokes. What
Yeah.
happened to the?
I wasn't looking for any other thing than clean. You know me.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, how do you tell the difference between a snowman and a snow woman?
snowballs.
Yeah. So,
I told you that joke a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, I've known that one for a long, long time.
Yeah. I mean, that's just as bad as saying, "What do you get when Santa scratches his balls?"
What?
A white Christmas.
Oh, my word. Yes. Well, enough of those now, huh? Yeah, I've heard a lot of dad jokes in the past, and in fact, I still will tell dad jokes every once in a while. My wife will just say, "Save it for the show, Brian." So, and I do. But anyway, we're about 41 minutes into the hour already. Again, next week we're going to be talking about suicide prevention, and plan on having a special guest or guests in the studio with us to talk about that. And a lot of people have been touched at one time or another by suicide, whether it be a family member or a friend or a loved one or whatever, a child. Doesn't make any difference. It's a thing where it's tough to deal with for a lot of people. I mean, for everybody, as far as I'm concerned. I had some childhood friends from school, one from grade school or middle school, and the other one from high school, that both committed suicide. And it's nothing that, even though that we weren't that close and we didn't stay in touch, you still feel it. So it's kind of like my cousin Danny dying from cancer at the age of 59. I hadn't seen him in probably 50 years because they live in Canada, and it's just I don't get up to Canada. I been up to Canada one time with my parents. That was it. That was before you needed passports and all that. So
You've always needed passports to get up into Canada.
no, you haven't. You have to have the credentials. You have to have the license stating that where you're from back then. But if you had kids, you didn't have to worry about it. They weren't that stringent upon all that stuff. Now, when I came in to from New Hampshire to Canada and went over, because I didn't want to go all the way around the Great Lakes, I just want to go with the top of them. I had to have a birth certificate for my daughter because she was only at the age of, I think, 4 and a half, maybe, at the time. And it was just her and I. So I finally found of course, we were moving out to Minnesota from New Hampshire or Massachusetts, or whatever. And anyway, so I had the information way up in my truck, but it was at the very front of the truck in the box.
So you had to dig it all out.
I had to dig it all out.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it really did. And
but then again, back in those days, you didn't have a cell phone to have pictures of it on your cell phone.
No, you didn't. So no, that's not something I would keep on my cell phone, I don't think, anyway. So, but I probably should have just thought about it and put it in my glove box. Never really thought about it too much, so figured I wouldn't need it. But anyway, the guy, the guard up there on the Canadian border was absolutely wonderful. He was very sympathetic, compassionate for a single dad going along with his daughter, moving back to wherever. So, Yeah, he told me, he said, just keep these documents out when you get back into the states, and because they'll want to see that again. Well, they never did. They never asked for them. So, and you could, back then you could probably just tell by looking at my daughter that she belonged to me.
Yeah.
I mean, she was just like spitting image, basically. So, of a Swede. You know what they say? You can always tell a Swede, but you can't tell them much. So, but anyway,
Mhm.
what nationality are you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a mixed breed, I guess. I don't know. I'm an
Yeah.
Irish American
Oh, you're an Irish American. Okay.
with a little bit of German, I guess.
Okay.
I think. I don't know.
All right. I don't know. I've got Swedish and I think a little bit of Irish, a little bit of Native American. I don't know how that came into be. And when I say a little bit, I'm saying maybe 1 or 2%, if that. Irish, I think maybe a couple percent. I think we got German in our blood too, because my grandfather's on my mom's side was Warner.
Well, my four great grandfather last name was Lemke, Lemke.
I've heard that before. I had one of my classmates in college when I went to Austin, Votech. I think his last name was Lemke. No, maybe it was Linky, Paul Linky. That's what it was. Anyway, neither here nor there. But yeah, where would I like to live? Probably Oklahoma. I don't want to live in Texas.
That's where all your exes are, right?
Yeah. Maybe Arkansas.
Yeah, you never really hear much about Arkansas or Nebraska. Or
No. Got a brother-in-law that lives in Nebraska. My brother-in-law Bruce, and he seems to enjoy it. He keeps inviting us down. It's just like, well, I don't enjoy driving that far.
Well, then move to Montana.
Yeah, I don't want to live in Montana either.
Why not? Too much snow?
Yeah. I would really like to get away from snow. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of it, but I don't want a bunch of it. It gets to be too much after a while. So, but
well, personally, I like the Four Seasons.
Yeah, their music was actually really good.
I ain't talking about the music.
Oh.
You nuthead.
Yes. Well, there we go then. Well, we've got three people on. I think we got 2 people on actually, because I think you're still viewing on the little tablet over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it catches up to itself.
Yeah. Is it still circling?
Well, it's not circling. It's just a little behind.
Oh, okay. That's better than a bigger behind.
No comment.
Yeah. I got to tell you a little quick story. When I was a kid, I was probably 8, maybe 9 years old.
It was 15 years ago, folks.
Yeah, right. I wish. But I took a trip out to South Dakota, the Black Hills, with my parents and my grandparents on my mom's side. And anyway, my grandma bought me a little stuffed bear, just a tiny little thing. It's probably about, maybe 3 inches, something like that, 4 inches. We were at a motel, and the next day we packed up and went on to our next location, and I couldn't find the bear. And my grandmother would cackle like a chicken, just so funny when she laughed. But anyway, I made her laugh that morning. I said, I can't find my bear. I think I left my bear behind. She just, I wish I had some sort of it sounded like a cackle of a chicken. That's just how she laughed. Just so funny. I remember that so much about her. What a great lady she was. But anyway.
Well, that's one of those things a kid would say that a parent wouldn't expect.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. But
yeah, it's like a little kid trying to say truck,
Yeah. Yeah, I know where that's going.
Nah, I won't say. I'm sorry, but I won't say fuck. I mean, oh shoot, I'm sorry, I said it.
I didn't even have my beeper ready.
Oops, sorry.
Potty mouth.
For those with virgin ears that don't like cursing, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not.
Oh my word. So I took Tucker to the to the dog park a couple of times a day. He had the place to himself this morning. Went out and did his business, and I said, "Okay, let's go." So he goes right back to the car. I don't have to put him on a leash or anything. I mean, it's really a well-behaved dog for the most part. And when I say
Hates cats.
yeah, he really hates cats. He attacked Pat's cat one time. I asked if he could watch the cat or watch the dog. Oh yeah, sure, bring him over. Yeah, found out that he had a cat, not me, but the dog, and attacked the cat.
Well, I'd say it was a two-way street.
Yeah.
I watched the fight start.
Oh,
and
I
was like,
didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see the fight at all, but anyway. And then anyway, this afternoon, I took him back over to the park for a little bit so he could finish doing what he wanted to do. And anyway, somebody brought a bigger dog, kind of a German Shepherd looking thing, a mutt probably, or Heinz 57 as my dad used to call him. And it was a female. Of course, Tucker's a male. He's got to be the dominant one all the time, it seems like. And he's got a mouth that doesn't shut up. You know, and chases the dog all over the place. And I found out from the lady that brought the dog that her dog loves to be chased. So and that was good. But it's like, it was like saying to Tucker, hey, you got to be a bully all the time, don't you? So
anyway. He just looks at you funny.
Yeah. Well, I took my mother-in-law up to a chiropractic appointment this morning. And I took Tucker along, and Tucker was in the back seat. He didn't like that at all because he likes sitting in the front seat right next to me. And he was whining from the back seat. And he finally decided to come up in between the seats and looked at my mother-in-law and started whining. So she got him up there in her lap, and he was all happy again. And I dropped her off her appointment to go pick her up again later on. And anyway, I had to hold Tucker in my lap because he was wanting to go along with her. And then started barking and whining after she had gotten out of the car and started walking toward the office and all that. So it's just kind of funny. So anyway, we get back to pick her up a little bit later on, about a half hour later. And anyway, we're sitting in the parking lot across the street from the office, and Tucker's just watching very diligently and sees her coming out the door and starts whining immediately. And it's like, what on earth, dog? You don't whine for me that much. So, but anyway, I guess she gives them treats, or her treats, or I should say, she gives Tucker treats when he goes over to visit. So it's kind of like my neighbors B and Gordy, great people, and Tucker loves going over there. Went over there the last time when we went down to watch our grandkids, and anyway, Tucker, I say, you want to go over to Gordy and B's? Zoom right over there, right up to the porch, right up to the door. And if he could ring the doorbell, he would. But anyway, I think he likes it over there so much because they feed him goldfish.
Yeah.
So anyway, that dog is a pig. Every time he wants a snack or something like that, he goes over to the door where we have them in the kitchen. And he also knows that we've got some on a shelf and also in a drawer. And he knows exactly where they are. Same as here in the studio. He wants to come out here and sit or lay down, but he wants that treat first.
Yeah.
So he'll go over and stand and look up where they're at. And I've tried to hide him a couple of times. Doesn't make any difference. He just has good memory. So, but now I got the big treats. They're like marrow treats, and they're in the freezer. That way he doesn't chew on them quite so quick when they're frozen. Well, anyway.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
No. I mean, my daughter Brianna has got 2 boxers, and she treats them like little girls. And anyway, she makes some sort of concoction that's really good for them and freezes it. And it's like an ice cube, basically, or a little bit bigger than an ice cube. And
what is dogs' infatuation with ice cubes?
I don't know.
Anybody know?
No. I know my dog would always love to get an ice cube.
Yeah.
You know, all day long. Of course, I used to eat ice quite a bit too.
Well, for humans to be crunching on ice, you know what it stands for, don't you?
What?
Sexually frustrated.
No.
Yeah.
No, I thought that was anemic or something like that.
No.
Okay. I'd never heard that before. I thought it was green M&Ms.
No, that's Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
Horny Thursdays, green
Oh, my
M&Ms.
goodness gracious. I guess I've been living under the comfort of
Sheltered life.
sheltered life for too long. So, anyway,
Yeah, it was a high school thing.
yes, I'm sure it was.
You know, actually, it was produced. The women came out with that, not the guys.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we
You
got
know, most of the perverted stuff that people talk about,
Yeah.
came out by women.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, it's like the joke: what do nuns have in 7-Up? What do nuns and 7-Up have in common?
I don't know if I want to hear this or not.
I never had it, never will.
Oh, my word.
A nun came up with that.
Yeah. Well, you know, they are just humans, just like we are.
Yeah.
I knew a couple of nuns when I was first married to my first wife. When I lived in New Hampshire, I lived upstairs and they lived downstairs, and very nice. I mean, the one was a little bit iffy, but the other one, her name was Sister Mary Edwin, and she was a big gal. She's not light, big gal, kind of like me. I was a big guy, you know, but we hit it off. Like she loved music. I used to write music back then, and I used to have a keyboard that I would bring down every once in a while, and she and I would, you know, write songs together and that kind of stuff. And
I had a nun in school. Her name was Sister Patricia Julie, and she was so mean.
yeah,
Oh God.
hit you with a head with a ruler a couple of times. Did
She loved to dig her nails into you.
Oh,
That hurt.
yeah. I had a hairdresser that did that one time. I was down at the Great Clips down in North Carolina. Brand new one that just opened up. And I loved to get my hair washed because I love the scalp massages. This one I hated because she had some flipping claws on her. Must have been a couple inches out. And she was just, it's like, oh my gosh. I had scars on my scalp from that.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
And I never went back there again. I did complain to the owner. I said, you need to, I mean, I tried to tell her, I said, you're hurting me. You're hurting me. She just kept on. So she didn't like white people. I don't know.
No, you just,
she was white herself. So that's why I said it. Anyway, that is probably going to do it for us tonight. Pat looks like he's about ready for bed.
No, not ready for bed. My eyes are just bothering me.
Yeah.
Ever since I got those stupid tests done last week, my eyes have just been going cuckoo, and that's why I've not been online. I haven't been looking things up.
Yeah.
Even the light's actually bothering my eyes tonight.
It's been a hermit.
Yeah.
Kind of like I have been for the past few weeks. So
Well, yeah.
But excuse me.
But anyway, folks.
Yeah, so make sure that you tune in next week. Again, we're going to be talking about suicide prevention, and we're going to have some special guests, hopefully. And I'll let you know who they're going to be once I get a confirmation on it. And then, I don't know. Are we going to take a break for the holiday or at all? We're going to keep on going all the way through.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Man, we do, we don't.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No. It's our show. We can do whatever we want.
That's true. That's true.
No.
So if you have a Facebook page and you'd like to share our video, just copy our link, and I would appreciate it. We do have 61 members on the fan page now, which is good. I'd like to see that go up to about 15,000 or more, but it might take some time. At least we got 61. So anyway. All right, folks, you have a good night. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Good night, folks.